The Cook Islands Maori, Kuki, Airani is a self-governing island country in the South Pacific Ocean in free association with New Zealand. It comprises 15 islands whose total land area is 240 square kilometers, 92.7 square miles. The Cook Islands Exclusive Economic Zone (EEZ) covers 1,800,000 square kilometers, 690,000 square miles of ocean. New Zealand is responsible for the Cook Islands defence and foreign affairs, but they are exercised in consultation with the Cook Islands. In recent times, the Cook Islands have adopted an increasingly independent foreign policy. Although Cook Islanders are citizens of New Zealand, they have the status of Cook Islands nationals, which is not given to other New Zealand citizens. The Cook Islands' main population centres are on the island of Rarotonga, 10,572 in 2011, where there is an international airport. There is a larger population of Cook Islanders in New Zealand itself. In the 2013 census, 61,839 people said they were Cook Islanders, or of Cook Islands descent, with about 100,000 visitors travelling to the islands in the 2010-11 financial year. Tourism is the country's main industry, and the leading element of the economy, ahead of offshore banking, pearls, and marine and fruit exports. Geography. The Cook Islands are in the South Pacific Ocean, northeast of New Zealand, between French Polynesia and American Samoa. There are 15 major islands spread over 2,200,000 square kilometers, 849,425 square miles of ocean, divided into two distinct groups, the Southern Cook Islands and the Northern Cook Islands of coral atolls. The islands were formed by volcanic activity. The northern group is older and consists of 6 atolls, which are sunken volcanoes topped by coral growth. The climate is moderate to tropical. The Cook Islands consist of 15 islands and 2 reefs. The table is ordered from north to south. Population figures from the 2016 census. History. The Cook Islands were first settled in the 6th century by Polynesian people who migrated from Tahiti, an island 1,154 kilometers (717 miles) to the northeast. Spanish ships visited the islands in the 16th century. The first written record of contact with the islands came in 1595 with the sighting of Puka Puka by Spanish sailor Álvaro de Mendaña de Nera, who called it San Bernardo, Saint Bernard. Pedro Fernandes de Queiroz, a Portuguese captain working for the Spanish crown, made the first recorded European landing in the islands when he set foot on Rakahanga in 1606, calling it Gente Hermosa, beautiful people. British navigator Captain James Cook arrived in 1773 and 1777 and named the island of Manuai Hervé Island. Later, the name Hervé Islands came to be applied to the entire southern group. The name Cook Islands, in honor of Cook, first appeared on a Russian naval chart published in the 1820s. In 1813, John Williams, a missionary on the Endeavour, not the same ship as Cook's, made the first recorded sighting of Rarotonga. The first recorded landing on Rarotonga by Europeans was in 1814 by the Cumberland. Trouble broke out between the sailors and the islanders, and many were killed on both sides. The islands saw no more Europeans until missionaries arrived from England in 1821. Christianity quickly took hold in the culture, and many islanders continue to be Christian believers today. The Cook Islands became a British protectorate in 1888, due largely to community fears that France might occupy the territory as it had Tahiti. On 6 September 1900, the leading islanders presented a petition asking that the islands, including Niue, if possible, should be annexed as British territory. On 8–9 October 1907, instruments of cession of Rarotonga and other islands were signed by their chiefs and people, and by a British proclamation issued at the same time the cessions were accepted, the islands being declared parts of Her Britannic Majesty's dominions. These instruments did not include Aitutaki. It appears that, though the inhabitants regarded themselves as British subjects, the Crown's title was uncertain, and the island was formally annexed by proclamation dated 9 October 1900. The islands were included within the boundaries of the colony of New Zealand in 1901 by Order in Council under the Colonial Boundaries Act, 1895 of the United Kingdom. The boundary change became effective on the 11th of June 1901, and the Cook Islands have had a formal relationship with New Zealand ever since. When the British Nationality and New Zealand Citizenship Act 1948 came into effect on the 1st of January 1949, Cook Islanders who were British subjects gained New Zealand citizenship. The country remained a New Zealand dependent territory until 1965, when the New Zealand government decided to offer self-governing status to its colony. In that year, Albert Henry of the Cook Islands Party was elected as the first premier. Henry led the country until he was accused of vote rigging. He was succeeded in 1978 by Tom Davis of the Democratic Party. Politics and foreign relations. The Cook Islands is a representative democracy with a parliamentary system in an associated state relationship with New Zealand. Executive power is exercised by the government, with the Chief Minister as head of government. Legislative power is vested in both the government and the Parliament of the Cook Islands. There is a pluriform multi-party system. The judiciary is independent of the executive and the legislature. The head of state is the Queen of New Zealand, who is represented in the Cook Islands by the Queen's representative. The islands are self-governing in free association with New Zealand. New Zealand retains primary responsibility for external affairs, with consultation with the Cook Islands government. Cook Islands nationals are citizens of New Zealand and can receive New Zealand government services, but the reverse is not true. New Zealand citizens are not Cook Islands nationals. Despite this, as of 2014, the Cook Islands had diplomatic relations in its own name with 43 other countries. The Cook Islands is not a United Nations member state, but, along with Niue, has had their full treaty-making capacity recognized by United Nations Secretariat, and is a full member of the WHO and UNESCO UN specialized agencies, is an associate member of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific and a member of the Assembly of States of the International Criminal Court. On the 11th of June 1980, the United States signed a treaty with the Cook Islands specifying the maritime border between the Cook Islands and American Samoa and also relinquishing any American claims to Penrhyn, Puka Puka, Manahiki, and Rakahanga. In 1990 the Cook Islands and France signed a treaty that delimited the boundary between the Cook Islands and French Polynesia. As competition between the US and China heated up in the South China Sea and other areas closer to the mainland, the Cook Islands began to feel the results. In late August 2012, for instance, United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton visited the islands. Human rights. Male homosexuality is illegal in the Cook Islands and is punishable by a maximum term of 7 years imprisonment. Administrative subdivisions. There are island councils on all of the inhabited outer islands. Outer Islands Local Government Act 1987 with amendments up to 2004, and Palmerston Island Local Government Act 1993 except Nassau, which is governed by Puka Puka Sawero, with only one caretaker living on the island, also governed by Puka Puka, is not counted with the inhabited islands in this context. Each council is headed by a mayor. The 10 outer islands councils are the 3 Vaca Councils of Rarotonga established in 1997, Rarotonga Local Government Act 1997, also headed by mayors, were abolished in February 2008, despite much controversy. The 3 Vaca Councils on Rarotonga were, on the lowest level, there are village committees. Nassau, which is governed by Puka Puka, has an island committee, Nassau Island Committee, which advises the Puka Puka Island Council on matters concerning its own island. Demographics. Births and deaths. Economy. The economy is strongly affected by geography. It is isolated from foreign markets, and has some inadequate infrastructure. It lacks major natural resources, has limited manufacturing, and suffers moderately from natural disasters. Tourism provides the economic base that makes up approximately 67.5% of GDP. Additionally, the economy is supported by foreign aid, largely from New Zealand. China has also contributed foreign aid, which has resulted in, among other projects, the police headquarters building. The Cook Islands is expanding its agriculture, mining and fishing sectors, with varying success. Since approximately 1989, the Cook Islands have become a location specializing in so-called asset protection trusts, by which investors shelter assets from the reach of creditors and legal authorities. According to the New York Times, the Cooks have laws devised to protect foreigners' assets from legal claims in their home countries, which were apparently crafted specifically to thwart the long arm of American justice. Creditors must travel to the Cook Islands and argue their cases under Cook's law, often at prohibitive expense. Unlike other foreign jurisdictions such as the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands and Switzerland, the Cooks generally disregard foreign court orders and do not require that bank accounts, real estate, or other assets protected from scrutiny. It is illegal to disclose names or any information about Cook's trusts be physically located within the archipelago. Taxes on trusts and trust employees account for some 8% of the Cook Islands' economy, behind tourism but ahead of fishing. In recent years, the Cook Islands has gained a reputation as a debtor paradise, through the enactment of legislation that permits debtors to shield their property from the claims of creditors. Culture. Language. The languages of the Cook Islands include English, Cook Islands Maori, or Rarotongan, and Pukapukan. Dialects of Cook Islands Maori include Penrhyn, Rakahanga Manahiki, the Ngāputoru dialect of Atiu, Mishiero, and Make, the Aitutaki dialect, and the Mangayan dialect. Cook Islands Maori and its dialectic variants are closely related to both Tahitian and to New Zealand Maori. Pukapukan is considered closely related to the Samoan language. English and Cook Islands Maori are official languages of the Cook Islands, per the Te Reo Maori Act. The legal definition of Cook Islands Maori includes Pukapukan. Music. Music in the Cook Islands is varied, with Christian songs being quite popular, but traditional dancing and songs in Polynesian languages remain popular. Public holidays. Art. Carving. Wood carving is a common art form in the Cook Islands. The proximity of islands in the southern group helped produce a homogeneous style of carving, but that had special developments in each island. Rarotonga is known for its fishermen's gods and staff gods, Atiu for its wooden seats, Mishiero, Make and Atiu for mason slab gods, and Mangaya for its ceremonial adzes. Most of the original wood carvings were either spirited away by early European collectors or were burned in large numbers by missionaries. Today, carving is no longer the major art form with the same spiritual and cultural emphasis given to it by the Maori in New Zealand. However, there are continual efforts to interest young people in their heritage, and some good work is being turned out under the guidance of older carvers. Atiu, in particular, has a strong tradition of crafts both in carving and local fiber arts such as tapa. Mangaya is the source of many fine adzes carved in a distinctive, idiosyncratic style with the so-called double K design. Mangaya also produces food pounders carved from the heavy calcite found in its extensive limestone caves. Weaving. The outer islands produce traditional weaving of mats, basketware and hats. Particularly fine examples of rito hats are worn by women to church. They are made from the uncurled immature fiber of the coconut palm and are of very high quality. The Polynesian equivalent of Panama hats, they are highly valued and are keenly sought by Polynesian visitors from Tahiti. Often, they are decorated with hatbands made of minuscule pupu shells that are painted and stitched on by hand. Although pupu are found on other islands, the collection and use of them in decorative work has become a speciality of Mangaya. The weaving of rito is a speciality of the northern islands, Manahiki, Rakahanga and Penrhyn. Taivivi. A major art form in the Cook Islands is Taivivi. This is, in essence, the art of handmade island scenery patchwork quilts. Introduced by the wives of missionaries in the 19th century, the craft grew into a communal activity, which is probably one of the main reasons for its popularity. Contemporary art. The Cook Islands has produced internationally recognized contemporary artists, especially in the main island of Rarotonga. Artists include painter and photographer Mahiriki Tangaroa, sculptors Aruara Ted Nia, originally a filmmaker, and master carver Mike Tavioni, painter, and Polynesian tattoo enthusiast Upoko. Ina Ian George, Itutakian-born painter Tim Manavaroa Buchanan, Loretta Reynolds, Judith Kunsley, Joan Rolls-Gragg, Kay George who is also known for her fabric designs, Api'i Rango, Veru Samuel, and multimedia, installation and community project artist Ani O. Neal, all of whom currently live on the main island of Rarotonga. Asian-based Andrea Imke is an artist who works in the medium of tapa and other textiles, and also co-authored the book Tivaivai, The Social Fabric of the Cook Islands with British academic Suzanne Quechler. Many of these artists have studied at university art schools in New Zealand and continue to enjoy close links with the New Zealand art scene. New Zealand-based Cook Islander artists include Michelle Tuffery, printmaker David Tita, Richard Shortland Cooper, Sylvia Marsters and Jim Vivier. On Rarotonga, the main commercial galleries are Beachcomber Contemporary Art Taputapuitia, Avarua, run by Ben and Travon Bergman, and the Art Studio Gallery run by Ian and Kay George. The Cook Islands National Museum also exhibits art. Wildlife. The national flower of the Cook Islands is the tiara maori or tiali maoli, Penrhyn, Nassau, Pukapuka. The Cook Islands have a large non-native population of Kiori toka ship rat, and Polynesian rat. The rats have dramatically reduced the bird population on the islands. In April 2007, 27 Kuhl's lorikeet were reintroduced to ATIU from Ramatara. Fossil and oral traditions indicate that the species was formerly on at least 5 islands of the southern group. Excessive exploitation for its red feathers is the most likely reason for the species' extinction in the Cook Islands. Sport. Rugby league is the most popular sport in the Cook Islands. See also Demographics of the Cook Islands Index of Cook Islands Related articles List of Cook Islanders List of islands Outline of the Cook Islands References Further reading Gilson, Richard. The Cook Islands 1820–1950. Wellington, New Zealand, Victoria University Press, 1980. ISBN 0-7055-0735-1. External links. Official website Cook Islands Government Chief of State and Cabinet Members Cook Islands. The World Factbook. Central Intelligence Agency. Cook Islands from UCB Libraries. GovPubs. Cook Islands at Curlie.